as
I
well.
want to know about your inspiration on a personal level. Where did you ever go through any kind of trauma? You know, what's your most traumatic childhood memory that really inspires you? Rice Pirate is the JoJo expert. I'm not sure if you guys know, but he knows everything. Shut up! We're gonna be fixing PewDiePie JoJo fan art because it's jacked up. I'm gonna be doing it for 24, maybe even 25 hours. We're gonna be sending in you guys into the Discord chat, and we're gonna be talking to you. Rice Pirate, just give us a really quick background of who you are, what you are.
I'm an animator and a voice actor. I say animator, but I always say it with quotation marks around it because I have no formal training. I'm here because my mommy and my daddy felt like they needed to.
We'll skip past that one.
I've just been online making comedy animated parodies for a really long time, and then I finally was just like, F it. I wanted something I could show my children.
How do you guys confront the fear, maybe being self-conscious of like what people will think, whether they'll like accept your creations and put your foot down and say, just do it?
That's a good question.
I think it's knowing why I'm making it. If I know why I'm making it, then it doesn't really matter a whole lot what other people think they know about.
No,
that kind of makes sense.
But you get, I mean, you definitely feel that, right, man? Okay, they're gonna look at this stuff. Everything that I do, I want people to like it. That's a natural feeling.
Of course I want them to like it. When I'm making something, if people for some reason have a negative response to it, I will listen to that response. But I know why I made it. I know why I made those choices. Do you know what I mean? I very deliberately chose to do a thing. Therefore, if responses come that are negative, then it's like, okay, let me absorb this. How about instead of being afraid of being quote unquote rejected, you are just proud of yourself for committing to something and creating something. Yeah.
The thing about the internet is, and it's so overwhelming, and I get this too, it's so overwhelming that you can't please everybody. You're going to have a niche, and you're going to have a crowd that likes what you do, and you're going to have a crowd that really hates what you do.
Listen, you said you're 15, right?
Yep.
That's great. Awesome. I think the fact that you're even considering what the repercussions of what you're going to do are awesome. Totally cool. You seem that you're ahead of the curve. I think that, you know, when you make something, you know, when you get the feedback, if people are not pleased with it, to just be as receptive as you can as to the reasons why they are not. Because some of those reasons will not be, in your mind, they will not be valid. And I'm not saying to ignore them, but maybe consider how they even came to that thought process. Why did they think you intended to say something that you did not intend to do? If it's about form, if it's about structure, well, maybe that's something you want to consider. Maybe that's something you want to improve upon. Every time someone brings up something they dislike about what you're doing, you have an opportunity to evaluate their criticism, and you can either say, yes, actually, that is something I should probably improve upon. Or, no, I don't think you quite, I think you're kind of spinning my words, or you're twisting my intent, which will happen. That will absolutely happen.
For me, it's not like I'm going to make this YouTube. It's going to be my way or the highway. That's it. No, it's like someday I'm going to be in charge of a big, big thing. And this is a microcosm of that. Now I need to learn to either listen to the people that are telling me things or just shut them out and do my own thing. And that's not what I'm about. I'm about listening and trying to understand how crowds work, what people actually like, what do I like. You know, it's important to listen to that feedback, but to have a grounded place to where you know is right and wrong.
Absolutely.
And that takes time. That takes time.
Yep.
If you're young, that takes time.
If someone wants to be angry at me, if somebody wants to troll me, if you know, whatever the case may be, I just let them get it out of their system. Do whatever you got to do. I understand where I'm coming from. If they give me a criticism that I accept, sometimes I'm like, you know what? That was mean, but damn, they're right. You know, and that's just you being honest with yourself. But I think the more you, and I think you're already doing it. The idea that you're even asking the question, and also anticipating that there's going to be that possible reaction to your work now or later. I think if you can approach it from a healthy place of like, you know, you're going to accept criticism, but you're confident about why you presented it. That's just leaps and bounds above so many other people.
Absolutely. You're already a step ahead. What a heartfelt response, man. That was good. You did good on that one. Did you ever go through any kind of trauma? You know, what's your most traumatic childhood memory that really inspires you? in storytelling. I really want to know, like, when did you get really jacked up, you know?
When I was raised by my grandma because my mom was going to college at the time.
Me too.
My dad left when I was born. Probably you too. Yeah. No. Maybe?
Oh yeah. He was in prison.
And she worked 2 jobs to pay for the house and help my mom go to college. But because she worked 2 jobs, I went to Montessori school, and she couldn't always pick me up. So I would have to walk home from school. And I'd go home and nobody would be in the house until like 7 p.m. And we had a little bit of an older house. It was a small house, but it was an older house. And, you know, the stairs would creak, the walls would creak, all that shit. And I'm a kid. And so, you know, I'm in like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, man. And I'm like by myself in this house. And I was hearing all these noises. So I'd always close my door. There were also times when I would hide in my closet for like hours, and my closet was full of bags of clothes, like these really heavy bags of clothes and some luggage shit too. When I was a kid, I used to crawl under all these bags of clothes, and I'd just sit in my closet for like hours.
You found comfort in that?
I did, obviously. I felt a little bit of safety. It was like anxious safety.
Yeah, but you'd rather it not.
Even when I'm there, that's the thing, is like when you're close to the floor of an old house, you hear everything even more. So I would hear the steps. I would hear the walls.
Oh,
sometimes
man.
Sometimes I think someone was home.
That's giving me little hilly billies on my arm. Oh. Dude, that's creepy.
Yeah.
So you had trauma, or you felt like there was trauma there that it wasn't something it wasn't even real, right?
That wasn't. I can look back at it and I can say it's not real. The thing is that I can still feel it.
That's
weird.
That's crazy. And I wonder what trauma that actually had on you. I mean, that you wouldn't really know. It's like, even if something didn't happen, it's what you believed happened.
You have a dream of something that's not actually happening. The feeling of it's so real, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you will remember that dream for a very long time, if not forever. Yeah, I've had my life threatened in dreams.
No.
And I will never forget some of those feelings. And yet, they're not real.
God dang.
Are you happy now? Are you happy now that you know my fucking childhood trauma?
Oh no. Oh no. When I was a child, I was one of the first on the bus stop out in southeast Texas in the middle of a huge pasture area. And I had to walk from the house to the bus stop every morning, and I would have to wake up at about 4 a.m. to get to the bus stop at 5 a.m. And I would wake up in middle school. I'd wake up before everybody else and make myself a cup of coffee. And then I would have to walk. It was middle school.
You were making coffee?
Dude, I knew how to pound out a pot of coffee since I was like born, essentially, because my grandparents raised me on that Folgers, baby. But I would walk to this bus stop, and it wasn't a bus stop, it was the end of my driveway, and it was at 4 a.m., and it's just the longest walk out there, and it's so cold and quiet, and the movie Signs had just come out, so I was scared off my little dinkus, like, because my imagination...
And you were hyped up on coffee, dude.
Oh, maybe that's why. My imagination, I'm not sure if you know, is just so vast that I could see in the dark, I could see like an alien walking. I would be like, I'd look this way and I'd be like, there's an alien over there. I know when I turn back this way.
This is why you hate imagination. We figured it out. He hates imagination because when he was young, he was traumatized by his own imagination, having to go out into the cold at 4:30 in the morning, hyped up on coffee, believing aliens were going to come out of the mist. We figured it out.
Shyamalan. I want you to do this for me, Rice Pirate. I need you to go in on me and fix me. I want you to, if you have anything to roast Ethan Becker, I want you to know what your problem is with me. What's your problem?
Well, I heard a rumor that you hate imagination, that you think it's overrated, that it should be done with.
Imagine that.
I get, like, in the video, you're like, don't use your imagination, always use references. I get that.
Look, there's too many
kids.
kids.
It seems like such a hard line.
Are you going to let me talk? There's too many kids out here that use their imagination. They think they know everything that there is to know, and they just don't. So imagination versus your reference, it's the same thing. Nobody's original. Your imagination is just a bunch of fuzzy Oh God, my camera turned off. And your imagination is reference. And if you're imagining something without referencing it in your brain, it's fuzzy. It's way too fuzzy, and you need to reference things directly. When you go big boy, then you can use your imagination.
Oh,
But
I see.
don't you ever use your imagination.
We're always told to foster our imaginations, to feed them, and to not be bound by the rules, the rigid form of reality. To go beyond that.
I don't know about that.
Oh, you're
No, I'm still here. I'm listening. I'm just...
I'm also a Texas boy. I got my broken cigarette hanging out of my mouth right now.
Is that a thing all Texans do?
Dude, definitely.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you've never been here, you gotta come. It's crazy.
You come out of your mama's womb with just a broken cigarette dangling out of your mouth?
I taught a class today in the Discord.
Oh, thank you.
And I got the same question about 20 times. Am I good enough to do this? What skill level do I need to do this? How do you help foster confidence in someone? Like, what would you tell them for them to be more confident in themselves? Even if they're drawing stick figures, you know?
I believe you should just tell them to start, man. I wish I was told more that it was okay to fail. But I think a way to foster that is to build up a thicker skin and to help them curb expectations and to foster improvement by just letting them know, like, hey, it's okay to fail. It's okay to feel scared of trying new things because you're afraid of failure. That's totally normal, but expect failure, you know, and then improve upon that.
It's a part of the process. It's important. It's almost more important.
There's like a phrase, a saying or something. It's like something along the lines of, it's like, I've only learned from my mistakes. I learned nothing from my successes or some shit like that.
Yeah, something cool sounding.
Yeah, something cool that was right and more right than what I just said. But yeah. So I know you talk a lot about being from Texas. I'm very proud of being from Texas, yes?
Yeehaw.
What would you say is one of the most quintessential Texan things you've ever done?
So what you do is you wake up in the morning and you get your gun and you go butt naked off your front porch and you shoot that sucker. You shoot both of your guns while peeing off of that porch. And I gotta be honest, that is one of the things that I miss most about Texas is the freedom that nobody cares what you do or on your own property and you can just do anything and it's cheap. It's cheap property. It's all around just great freedom.
Have you ever been near a tire fire?
A tire fire? Oh my God, let me tell you something about the tire fires. You will be surprised at how many dogs that brings around. I'm talking dogs and cats and squirrels. Tire fires, it's just like all the neighborhood dogs and cats. It's the weirdest thing. They will gather around. Typically, they're freaking out. You know, you got the cold weather. Tire fires, boom. They're like chill. They'll sit around the tire fire. It stinks. It really stinks, but they're just so calm afterwards. It's the weirdest thing.
I was trying to offend you. I didn't know it was, I should go to Tire Fire, Texas. It sounds like it's cozy, it's freeing, lots of gun shooting and dogs.
Start that tire fire, you got at least 50.
Ethan,
That was fun. Yes, sir.
what happened to your eyebrow?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. Because everybody's like,
Is that
oh.
a scar? Is that a fashion statement?
Yeah.
Is that a religious thing? I mean,
All right, are you guys ready? Give me an S in the chat if you're ready for a scar reveal. All right, I have to like,
you're gonna cry?
I'm trying not to. So
I'm ready, man. I am.
the thing is that you're gonna think it's a lie. And
Oh.
I'm gonna try, everybody's gonna think it's a lie. And this is the first time I'm gonna reveal it because it's so stupid. As a child, and there's so many ways I can spin this. Bear attack, lion attack,
A dog from a tire fire.
dog from a tire fire, multiple of animals that I could have been attacking. The truth is I was dropped as a child on a hot tub.
Oh,
And that's it, man. And that's it. They can never explain.
bad.
I don't remember it. I don't know why I don't remember it.
So you actually can't grow hair there.
It's physically impossible.
I wish I got dropped somewhere so
I know, right? I was like, thanks, Aunt Donna or whoever dropped me. Like, thank you.
It is very distinguishing, and like especially if you drew like caricatures of yourself, it's kind of like anime-y or like I don't know. It's a very character design thing to do.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, do you kind of look like a doofus, Because it looks like a fashion statement.
It does look a little bit like one. Yeah.
I know. Does that?
You know what?
Are you
I
satisfied?
think it looks cool now.
Oh,
looks
thank
cool.
you. Are you satisfied
I thought
with
it
that
looked
answer?
stupid. I thought it looked douchey before, but now I think it's cool.
Tell all your friends, please, in the chat. You guys need to go ring up your mom, ring up your dad, aunt or uncle, or your friends. If they watch me, just let them know. Please spread the word. It's not a fashion statement. Hot tub, dropped as a child. Thank you.
Dropped. I feel like that excuse can be thrown out for a lot of things. Anytime something bad happens, like, dude, give him a break. He was dropped on his head. As a baby.
But I do have that instinct now. Every time I go near a hot tub, it's like, ugh, You know, like
I would just like you to answer this. Could you respond to these allegations that you are creating your own cult?
Oh no.
wait,
It says here that you registered for a new religion in the state of Texas in the name of Ethan Becker's cult.
wait, when? Where are you getting this information?
People, I'm telling you, this man, he's smarter than you. He's dangerous. He can control you with his mind.
Wait, where are you?
If
Who
you
are?
need to save yourself from this man, Ethan Becker, I'm telling you, free yourself.
Wait, where are you getting this information? Is he kicked? Kick him. If he's not gone, kick him right now. Don't listen. Don't even listen. There's too many people are trying to.
They're coming after you?
It's been a thing about the cult thing. Just ignore it. Let's move on. Can we get a new one in here? We'll cut this part out in the final.
Well, hold on. I am curious though. Did you file? Did you actually file? Was this like a different time in your life?
It was a weird. Let's just go. It's weird. Let's just go on. Let's ask the new
I don't
person.
want to bring up anything that makes you uncomfortable.
Thank you.
Too uncomfortable.
All right, let's move on from the cult thing.
Did you ever have anyone that was not in your face, but that was just like they were calm about it, they were supportive about it, but they were like, this is not correct, you can do better, this is what you should improve on? Was there somebody that you worked with that kind of gave you that quote unquote tough love?
Absolutely. Eugene Lee, he was one of my directors on Voltron. He's like, hey, this art's pretty good, what you got here, but it's not gonna cut it. Like, this isn't going to work on Voltron because we're working at a different level than all these other studios, and you gotta step it up. And I was like, oh my god, like I gotta put in a little bit more effort here. And it was great. Those are the people I'm looking for in my life that'll tell me not good enough, but in a way that is like, look, you need to be paying attention to the big boys. Don't be looking at no like Polly Pocket Barbie show, because that's not the level that we're producing right now. We're producing stuff that's just like Korean, man, just some really high quality stuff. And I was like, oh, thank God he told me. I would have never known otherwise. What an amazing man.
I guarantee that person, because they gave you that advice, I guarantee that person is gonna live in your memory for fucking ever. It's those lessons, man. Those people that take the time to see you, to see what you're doing, and to want you to do better. You then feel inspired to become better, and they're like a cornerstone in your growth. Everything you have drawn is a JoJo reference, and I'll tell you why. Everything is a JoJo reference, and that's not a meme. It's true. It hits so many things that if you read JoJo, everything looks like a JoJo reference. It just does. It just does.
What about triangles? I feel like something I said about triangles. Is there something to do with the triangle in JoJo?
Sure.
God dang it.
Yeah. Dude, the guy, if you go through all of his work, it's like he downloaded Wikipedia and just found a way to include everything. So if you're following the series, you're just gonna find JoJo references in everything.
What's your question?
In JoJo's especially, there's like a really iconic balance between the anatomical structure they have while also having like super dynamic gestures and poses.
Yes.
And how do you find that balance? Because I always find that my drawings either lean towards more structure or lean towards more gesture, but never both.
Well, he can break it because he's done it so often that he can make something super stylized, right? Like it's based on the structure first, and then he just pushes it as far as he can. That's what I've gathered.
Yes, absolutely. So if anything with Araki, an extreme pose is normalized. If you look at some of the shots, there's like, why is that guy, while explaining X, standing like that? Like that, nobody stands like that. But it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I think for him, it's a composition thing. And I'm noticing it in doing my own fan project, is that I'm noticing that I'm not pushing it far enough. It just doesn't feel like it's hitting the mark. And so I think that's definitely something I'm going to have to explore more. But yeah, I think you nailed it in terms of like, I think with him, the extremity of the pose, that's just the natural language. That's just the normal in a lot of cases. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my biggest struggle is just when I'm nervous about something, like if I know I'm intimidated by backgrounds or I'm intimidated by, poses with two characters interacting, I'll avoid that so hard.
Don't do it. Every single time. Every time you're afraid to do it, do it. Do it every time. I promise you. I did the exact same thing for so long. Anytime I was afraid of a challenge, like having two interacting or moving characters or like certain things, I was always like, well, how do I like just cut, like do the shots where I don't need to do that? You know, can just do it.
Absolutely.
It's a wonderful challenge.
Because
it's a wonderful challenge.
you learn. I know it's very basic, but you learn the thing more the more you do the thing. It's going to apply to everything. It's going to transfer.
Absolutely. I think it transfers directly to your character as a person. How do you tackle problems? How do you tackle your fears?
Yep.
Microcosm. Something like, I hate drawing hands. I hate drawing feet. And then what do? You go, F it. I'm going to spend all day drawing hands. That's what I'm doing.
And at the end of the day, you're not looking for perfection. You're looking for progress. That's what you need to keep in mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
So this one term I hear around thrown out at my art school is line quality. I know there's like so many different layers to it. Like there's weight, there's shape, there's light. So I just wanted to understand it more and all the functions it has and how to exercise those functions of it.
I'll be right back.
Go P. Here's the thing. You probably wanted to hear Ethan's answer, honestly, because he has a lot more technical terms on it.
Don't
And
talk
No,
crap
your
about me
answer is
while I'm
valid
gone, by the way.
too.
I won't. We're not going to Google your cult or whatever the thing. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to line quality and you were talking about weight and all those types of things and the shape, I honestly, and this is a shitty answer because it's not technical, but I'm just going to go with the answer that I feel, and that is, it's how it makes me feel. I know in certain scenarios, when I see those bolder lines, when I see those thicker lines, how do I feel? How does that line quality express that shot, right? Is it bolder? In JoJo is a great example. In a lot of cases, especially in the anime, you'll see both very clean, almost like they're using like a singular weight to a lot of it. Tapers a little bit, kinda, but sometimes for the more animated parts, you know, not so much. When they choose to use those thicker lines, it tends to be a more dramatic moment. I think in general animation, a lot of times what we see is a fairly thin, consistent line. That tends to be the case. But I do like it when artists decide to experiment with their line quality. So sometimes a little more jagged and uneven, or thicker, depending on, you know, certain scenes and stuff like that. So that's my uneducated answer, which is in terms of line quality, I think most of the time people are going to be looking for consistent, smaller, you know, thinner, even line with the tapering in the correct places or whatnot. However, I think what we see sometimes, which is really cool, is when people work with that, when they play with that, when they experiment with that, because it gives you a different visceral feeling when you see that. You know what I mean? Kind of.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense.
Yeah. And you know what?
Guys,
At the same time, okay.
I feel like art school would have just been focused on the formalities of it, but this helped more like on a personal level on how to explore line quality and how to make it better for myself so that I like it and I'm not appealing to just my school.
Yes. How is it best expressed through the way you present it? That. We're
gonna send in the next person, but right before that, I want to know if there's anything that you need to fix or that you would like to fix from me, or other questions that you had about me that you didn't like me, my personality. Am I too cool?
Listen,
am I not cool
look,
enough?
I'm not gonna lie. I've met you. We've hung out.
Yeah.
I like you.
I remember it.
I do think that you have a bit of a grudge or a chip on your shoulder about curves. What's your deal, man?
If these curves are built upon straights, I ain't got a problem with you. Just don't go curvy. First.
What if it's a style choice? A choice to be curvy when you could be straighty, but you're curvy.
I just want to see in the chat, say yes curve or no curve. You can build it, you can make it, wait, you can make a curve. Oh God.
Too late.
You can make a curve out of a straight.
Cancel Ethan.
Look,
Cancel Ethan.
That's a curve.
Ethan.
The straights come first, then the curves later. But we're moving on. I don't want to talk about this anymore. No, it's because it's a little bit kind of high up there for people to understand. There's just so many people saying yes to curves, and it's not what I meant. Like, it doesn't mean that the curves are gone forever.
This guy wants to draw everything in MS Paint with the line tool.
So I was wondering how to get into realism, like how to first like start off with it.
Oof.
Yeah, realism. I'd say just copy a photo, just paste that photo in there.
Yeah. I mean, as far as realism, Ethan, I feel like you would know more about how to approach that.
Just gotta be real with yourself, man. It's I'd say study the people who do realism, and also go into Photoshop. If you're looking to paint, you take those suckers into Photoshop, the things that you're trying to study, and you go and color pick, and you'll realize just how desaturated realism is. You go into color. I'm not sure if you do color, but if you go into color, you're thinking, oh, this is so saturated. It ain't. Everything's gray. Everything's gray, and especially if you take it from photographs, it's all compressed. I hope that helped, but I mean, that's what I gotta say.
A lot of people will start with an anime style, or they'll start with like this comic book style, or they'll start with, you know, certain styles. Totally cool. However, all of those styles are somehow boiled down from realism to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Like it still comes from a real place. It's just like, how did they kind of distill from realism that particular style? So if you can hit that real style, I do feel like it's a really good base for approaching a lot of different styles. You know where muscles are, you know where like body structures are, you understand color a little bit better, all that kind of.
That realism is more of a 3D thing these days. If you're looking at people like One Pixel Brush, if you're looking at concept arts type of stuff, that's all 3D, and that's the way it's moving. You can be a purist these days, but it won't get you nowhere real fast. Yeah, so just make sure you're actually studying stuff that's useful, and more than that, stuff that you enjoy. And if you enjoy realism, that's on you. That's awesome. Look at the dog, everybody. This is June. You know June, right?
Aww. Is that a pit?
She's a Staffordshire Terrier.
Oh, she looks a bit pitty.
Yeah, she's kind of pitty. Yeah, she's basically a pit bull. She's so sweet though. There's just no care in the world. She's just so sleepy all the time. Hey, Junie.
Aww. What is the worst thing you've put on the internet?
Well, I privated and or deleted them by now, but probably some of my first things, you know, some of my first things. I think showing your progress or showing how you've evolved is healthy and good, but this was just like, this doesn't need to be here. I think I had like a Slender Man cartoon or some shit like that. I think I took that down. I hope I did. If I haven't, I'm gonna. It was just, it just felt, my heart wasn't in it. I watched it, didn't care.
Maybe my very first PewDiePie video. You know, that's kind of cringy.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't mind it because you mentioned growing and stuff like that. And I really like to look back and be like, okay, this is where I was then. Now I got to look at where I am now and think about how I'll look at myself now in the future. It's like, how do I want to present myself and all that? And do I really want to present myself with a freaking 20-inch cigarette hanging out my mouth? I don't know. I haven't really thought that far.
I've been having troubles with being motivated to actually learn. I watch a video and then I just tune out. I just procrastinate a bit.
Motivation's hard.
When it comes to learning,
Is your ultimate goal to learn though?
Yeah, you're just trying to be entertained.
Let's go with entertain.
Okay.
You can like art, and you can be entertained by art, and you can be entertained by artists, but nobody is forcing you to be a better artist. You know, if you enjoy it in your own way, if you like to doodle patterns or draw, you know, whatever you want to draw, it doesn't have to be some, you know, craft that you have to master. You know what I mean? You can still just enjoy drawing. That's totally normal and fun. There's plenty of things that I fucking suck at. I'm
Dude.
not saying you suck at art. I'm
Dude,
just saying that
the
there
ch-
are things I suck at.
The
that I
chat
enjoy.
is going crazy with learn. You don't understand, chat. If I taught you every episode, you would not care.
There you go. What a beautiful Dwayne says both. And so did the Lennox. And you know what? They's right. Both.
I'm trying, man, but it's
because
it's
that way, someone like Kenna can still enjoy the video, but not necessarily feel like they have to learn. They can still be entertained by the video as it's happening because you can do it. You did it in plenty of them.
I gotta say, after watching JoJo, your work makes so much sense now. Like, it's like I felt like I was in on the joke now, but like a very sincere joke that wants to do better for people. And I can tell just by you telling your stories and stuff, your childhood traumas and whatnot. You have stuff that you want to tell and put out in the world. And we need more people like that. We don't need people Shyamalan it up with some aliens walking around scaring kids. We don't need that anymore.
Well,
we need people telling.
We know how you feel about aliens, and we know that your childhood drama is about them aliens at 4:30 in the morning as a child walking out into those empty, dark fields. So I get where your trauma comes from.
I get, yeah. I'm just saying we need more people like you.
I think we made some real progress hitting those core traumas, bro.
Trauma bros. So thank you so much for joining. This was honestly my favorite stream, a lot better than Cynic's stream. I can't put it any other way. I think I like all of you more than I like Cynic's.
You got good people. That makes it a lot easier. So you're lucky that you fostered a good fan base, man.